Dear ladies and gentlemen, you are very most welcome on the J2 Talk Hub, and today with you as your host, Magezi Joshua. We'll be talking about a lot of things. So here we talk, and then we talk. So basically today we'll be talking about singlehood. It's a very exciting topic to talk about. There's really a lot to talk about singlehood. There are a lot of perspectives, misconceptions about it. There are social expectations about singlehood. It's perceived as a stage. It's perceived as a stage of life to perceive. To endure. Perspective, but I will be getting deep into it today. And today with me in studio, I have a book editor. She's a writer. What else should I say? I can't exhaust it all, but she's a pastor. She's happily single. She's the right person to talk about singlehood today because she's happily single. She has walked the journey, and she has a testimony, and she has a lot to share with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, with all the excitement in the room, allow me welcome Pastor Zipporah. You're very most welcome. Please say hi to our viewers today.
Thank you so much, Joshua.
You're welcome.
My name is Zipporah Kuteesa. I'm a pastor, I'm a book editor, and I'm an author, the author of Happily Single.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I wrote this book, 13 Keys to Thriving in Your Singleness and Individuality. Okay. One, because there's so many misconceptions out there about singleness. Okay. People have this thing that you're single, you're rejected. You're single, you're sad. You're single, you're lonely. You're single, you're not a responsible adult. Yeah. You're single, you're suffering. You're single, you don't have anyone to care for you. So I thought to myself one night, I was thinking so deeply, and I was like, you know what? I've been single for 27 years, and I have been happy in all those single years that I've been single.
In all the 27 years?
In all my 27 years.
Check
I'm making 27 in May.
Consistency.
Consistency. It's the consistency for me. But in all those years, there's never been a year I woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm suffering. Oh my God, I'm tired of being single. Oh my goodness, what is this singleness thing? It's such a curse. No. I've never lamented about singleness. Every day I wake up in the morning, I'm like, goodness, what a gift that God has given us. How lucky are we that we were born without a marriage partner immediately? We were given that chance to just be happy by ourselves, to enjoy ourselves, to discover ourselves, to be in our own company, to have a life without having anyone by mandate or mandatorily in our lives. Imagine you were born with a wife. Imagine that.
Ooh, I would be dead by now.
You would be dead
because of the pressure,
my dear.
Yeah, the pressure,
my dear. Like, this is such a gift to be born alone, to be born complete, to be born single was very intentional of God. Otherwise, if he did not want singleness, he would have got us on this earth with a partner. Like, you get born, you're there, and they're like, that's your husband, Zipporah, move on. That's your wife, Joshua, move on, like immediately. But that alone, by the fact that we were born single, that right there should be something to think about.
Very true. When I get to think about it, actually, at this point, I feel like there's a lot you can achieve. Okay, while single, in as much as you can as well achieve when you're married, but I feel like God was very intentional about us being born single. You can because we are born alone, and then we'll go back to alone. So
there is no marriage in heaven. Do people think about that?
They never get to think about that.
Imagine striving for something that is so temporal that even in heaven it's not there. And you've lived your life so dissatisfied, so sad, so angry at everything because you're not married, and then you get to heaven and discover that, oh, it was not for marriage that I was created. I was created to dominate this earth. I was created to pursue and achieve in life. I was created for a certain purpose, and marriage was just the by the way. When you think about marriage, it's because people want to get married. You wake up in the morning, like I always say, you are like, you know what? Now let me get married. You choose to get married. It's a whole other responsibility, plus all the other responsibilities you already have. Now, there are so many people who think about singleness as a time to suffer. They think about it as something to lament about, and such people make miserable partners. They get married and discover that the hole within themselves that they were trying to cover by getting married is actually not covered by the partner, but it's supposed to be covered by yourself. Now, this is the whole reason for being single. To fill that gap with the purpose that God called you for. All these things that God has called you to achieve, you should discover these things while you're not yet married and get on the journey of pursuing these things. You need to understand yourself in all your fullness. To know yourself. Nobody's going to know you the way you know you.
True.
You see why people don't understand you is because you don't understand yourself. So you need to take time and understand yourself. You need to take time and know who you are, to understand the things you like, the things you don't like, to know those things. Now, to also pursue the purpose for which God created you, because there's really a purpose that God created for each and every one of us.
That's very true.
Now the problem is people fail to discover those things. They fail to discover those things, and at the end of that day, they get married, and now they are distracted with so much, and there's still an emptiness within themselves because they fail to discover themselves.
I think it gets back to that one of the commandments that love your neighbor
as you love yourself.
We usually rush to that scripture to changuira nyo love your neighbor, but we forget about the part of as you love yourself. So at the end of the day, if you're giving the same energy to the person that you're finding, the same energy you're giving to yourself, then you can love the other person like really the way you love yourself.
You can't,
because love is not really about what in my perspective, it's not about what the few things we do here and there, but it's what you invest in yourself. What you invest to get to know about yourself. How much time do you give to yourself? I was challenged one of the days yesterday. So one of my friends, a border guy that usually picks me, we had to go to work by around 7:30, but I woke up pretty late. So when I woke up late, it's like, "Then Joshua, where you gala? When do you ever sit like early in the morning, sit in your sitting room, talk to yourself, like get to find out what you can, what you want to achieve in the day? Like you just woke up at 7 and 7:30 I've come to pick you. When do you get to sit down? Like when?" Okay, it sounded like a joke, but I was like, David, you're telling me something actually.
Yeah, because let me tell you, if you don't know how to give yourself time, you're not going to understand how to give other people time.
That's true. That's true.
If you don't know that I sit down and I process my thoughts, I need to give other people the grace to do that. If you don't know how to extend grace to yourself, you will not know how to extend grace to other people. Because they will ask you for that moment to take, let me go and, think about things, process my thoughts, meditate. And then you'll be like, Aina kajanja. What do you mean you need a day or two to rest? What do you mean you need a day or two to just think about things? Yeah, but really, it comes from, if a person has loved themselves enough, they will understand that, actually, akosika janja. A normal human being needs time to just recover. I'm the kind of person who takes my time to process my thoughts. I like to process my thoughts. I sit with myself. I talk to myself. I'm like, you know what? We did this, but was it the right thing to do? How do we edit this? How do we get better? Maybe I will approach this in a different way. I will do it like this next time. I like to do that. When I have socialized for a very long time, I take time to myself, like 2 days or something, and I'm like, now, let me rejuvenate. Let me recover. Let me hibernate. So that I am at full capacity when I meet my friends. You will never find me when I'm amongst my friends and I'm working on -0 battery or -1 battery. When I'm at that point, I have taught myself to communicate. So I tell you, I'm very exhausted right now. I'm not going to give you the attention you need.
It's the genuineness.
Yes, because I know myself. Now you find someone who's very exhausted, and this person is amidst others, because they do not know that when I get exhausted, I become irritating to other people. I become annoying. Now they're annoying everybody. They're annoying everybody. They have not spent enough time with themselves to realize that, you know what? Bwezivaako
mbampiseko
ndabika bubi ntama buli aneetoolodde, that kind of
start
thing.
Offending the people around you.
But then if you know yourself, kati nze nemanyi, I'm a very self-aware person. I actually say it so much. Like I tell it to people. It's also something I added in the book. Like I know myself. I'm a very sensitive person and I am not ashamed of it. Because these days people try to make a sensitive person seem like an evil person. You know, get rid of your emotions. And I'm like, have you guys imagined a world where there is no emotion? Do you know? Do you know when people don't feel any remorse for the things they do? When they don't feel sad, when they don't get hurt, when they don't consider other people's feelings? Have you imagined a world that is emotionless? Now, when people try to discourage me from that, I'm always like, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. I've been this kind of person and it has helped me. I know very well that being sensitive, being emotional, being such a person has helped me be a good leader, a good team leader, because I empathize. I'm like, I have this empathy that I can extend to others. I feel what they feel. I understand their pain. I know how to approach them and be like, you know what? I get it. It's fine. You can do this. I approach people with understanding. Only a person who has taken time to understand themselves can approach others with understanding.
That's true.
Tagezaako ku imposing anti Joshua ye ayogera nnyo nze soogera nnyo kati ngezaako okufuula Joshua tayogere nnyo naye naawe oyogera nnyo naye naawe no Joshua ayogera nnyo si kibi gw'oli musirise si kibi buli omu agumire gy'ali buli omu anyumirwe kyali.
Let's accommodate each other.
Yes. Oyina kyongasa nina kyenkugasa mu kusirika oyina kyongasa mu kwogera oshegeera buli omu mubanga bw'oli nkwagala nga bw'oli
because we all can't be the same.
Kubeera nange sandyagadde kuba actually kyekimu ku nsobi abantu ze bakola nga bafumbiriganwa oba nga baagala okufuna ba spouses nti afuna omuntu nga aluubiridde amukyuse.
That's very common. That's very common.
Nti nkufunye mbu kati ate kankukyuse. Are you kidding me?
It can't happen.
Nkufune nkukyuse gw'oyagala nkukyuse mu bibyo. Gw'ayagala okunkyusa nkukyuseeko mu bibyo.
It just can't happen because imagine you've walked the whole journey of
imagine 27 years.
I've
been doing
22.
Yes.
How can I change you for 27? What you've done for 27 years, and how can you change what I've done for 21 years? Like to change it, ew.
Nzije nga ngenda kuimposingako ebintu byange gwobifuuke.
That's crazy.
Kibi nnyo.
No wonder like the failed relationships.
Yeah, it's such a big assumption. You have gotten this person in their way. That is who they are. They are comfortable being like that.
Yeah.
Now you're getting them with the intention to change them from what they are. By the way, people get others with that intention. Nti Zipporah nkulaba oyina effujjo oseka onyumya wenyumirwa. I'll get you and tame you. Excuse me.
That can't happen.
Am I an animal? Do I look like a cow to you? Am I a horse? That I need breaking? I hear people say those things, by the way. They see a person like me, I'm a strong woman, I know what I want, I say what I want to say. You will not make me say what I don't want to say. Now a person approaches you with the mindset of oyonja mukakanya.
That's a lot of ego.
Ne waliwo omukakamu. Lwaki tofuna oyo?
Funa omukakamu.
Mwena mukakane.
Mwena mubere ku ground. As this day. Yeah, mwena mubere ku ground.
If we go to physical appearance, omukazi omusanze munene. Waliwo ayagala omukazi omunene. Ate omufuna obowooza mbu ngenda mutwala mu gym. Nveeko munno. Kakugambe nti I want to go to the gym agende. Naye bw'oba omufuna with the intention nti ono nja mufuula kyenjagala.
That can't happen. Because we are two different people meeting with different journeys of life.
Yes.
We've walked different journeys. We should just accommodate each other.
Exactly.
We should meet halfway.
Even with friendships. Buli omu alina kyayagala, buli omu alina byakola. Kizibu nnyo oba kibi nnyo to approach others with the mindset that for you, your way is the way. You're not even Christ.
And you know that thing happens much more with us the men. We think that way all the time. You meet a girl, you want to, they're your friends first, then you want to date them, then you feel like you want to change them. Let me take an example. If you find them really social, you're like, you need to cut off your circles, blah blah. But again, what you want to change is what has made this person outstanding. That's them. That's them. That's part of them. So when you try to change them, you're actually depriving the world of what it would have got from this person, because you're taking away themselves to be you. So when will they get time to be them? As in, when will they get the time?
That's why I'm like, thriving in your singleness and individuality. That individuality bit deals with these people who are married and they don't know how to be individuals. Everybody is an individual. Buli omu alina papasi. Ne bwe twatwogera ku zino marriage zaffe ez'abalokole. Buli omu akyalina papasi even after you guys get married. Omukyala papasi y'omwami si ye papasi ye. Omwami oyo papasi ye si ye y'omukyala. Ey'omukyala si ye y'omwami. Mwenna muyina okugoba assignment zammwe mukakase nga bwe muviira wano ku nsi. Buli omu eyiye agimaliriza, kuba mugenda kutuuka mu ggulu mu accountinga owoze mbu nazaala abaana n'enfumbirwa. Mukama akugambe nze nno nga nali nkuyitidde kuyamba bannamwandu, nali nkuyitidde bizinensi, nali nkuyitidde kulunda.
Anti kati ekiriwo ekireeta maybe that also that bit of people losing their purpose when they get into marriage. It's a bit of two people coming together, they become one. So that oneness tends to absorb each other's purpose. They either lose the purpose, then either the woman has to submit to the husband to run with the purpose of the husband, or either way. So
twisted.
That oneness, I think we need to clarify on what does that oneness really mean.
That oneness, musisinkanye mufuusa omwami n'omukyala, endagaano tegenda kuvaawo. Ojjukira nti Yesu yatufiirira ne tufuuka ba brides be, right? And he's our groom. Okay?
Yeah.
But we each have our own assignments to fulfill. Are we dying for other people?
No.
Like Christ?
No.
There's a purpose we're supposed to serve. If we stop just at, he created them male and female, and each was given dominion. Each was given dominion. Male and female. Adam and Eve. Even after Eve was there, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, what, all those things. She came and still she had a purpose as well. We each have a purpose. We must really, by the way, ekintu njagala nnyo kyemphasizing naddala mu marriages z'abalokole, kubanga ndabye nnyo abakyala nga bakoma after being married. N'azaala abaana n'akoma. Eyali omuweereza ow'amaanyi abeera mu kwaya akola biki musabi intercessor obulamu ne bukoma bavu.
And that will take us back to maybe to a question that is mostly asked. So for those that are just watching us, in studio we have the author of the book Happily Single. Yeah, it's right here, and you guys, each one of you has to get a copy of this, because there's a lot of knowledge in here. Even the marrieds can actually use this book.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it talks about 13 keys of thriving in your singleness and individuality. So it covers a lot of things in our walk of life. So, but I had one of the questions that our viewers ask mostly. What's your perspective of singlehood? What is singlehood? Before we get into the other question of that's singlehood, but the other question we'll talk about what is being happily single, and why this book. At least we now get the message what this book is communicating. But I want to get what is singlehood,
what is singleness.
Singleness, and then we'll get into happily single now, that section as well.
Okay, singleness, first of all I'll talk about what it's not. Okubeera single, toli weka, tolekeddwawo, tokolimiddwa, sinti toyagalwa. Okubeera single si kwe kubonaabona. Okubeera single si kwe butaba na buvunaanyizibwa. Okubeera single si kwe butayagalwa. Okubeera single, this is what singleness is. Or let me actually also say those words in English. Being single does not mean you're unloved. It does not mean you're rejected. It does not mean you're alone. It does not mean you don't have people who love you or lacking of love. It does not mean you're irresponsible. It does not mean you're not an adult. It does not mean you're not whole. Being single means you don't have a romantic partner. That's it.
Simply that. Should we echo that again?
Being single means you do not have a romantic partner. You're not in a romantic relationship with anyone. Inti toli mu romantic relationship na muntu yenna. That's it. Kyekitegeeza nti sirina muntu gwendi naye mu nkolagana eno ey'omukwano ogupateininga tu romance. Okuyinza okuliidinga tu bufumbo.
Okay.
Bwe kitegeeza ekyo.
Simply.
Kyekyo.
So, and then if we're to get into who is someone that is happily single?
Someone that is happily single, someone who's thriving in their singleness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've lived this life all these years, and I am the right person to talk about this.
Please do.
To be happily single is to understand yourself and pursue things that lead to your happiness. That's it. You're happily single. You're pursuing things that lead to your happiness. You're pursuing your goals. You're pursuing understanding yourself and getting a better version of yourself. You're living a life that actually leads you into achieving the things that bring forth your purpose. Nti oli mukubeerawo mu bulamu bw'onyumirwa, bw'oyagala, obukuleetera okutuukiriza omulamu ogwakuleeta ku nsi eno.
Mpulira.
Nti weetegeera nti Zipporah bino bimunyumira, bino tebimunyumira. Zipporah likes this, she doesn't like that. Zipporah enjoys this, which makes me a better friend. Why? When I move with people, I know that things I don't like, I can communicate them. They can either avoid them or leave me alone, so that we are all happy. Being happily single is living a life where you kick out whatever takes your happiness.
Okay.
Like the worries, the misconceptions about that whole entire topic of marriage and singleness. All those things that try to rob you of your happiness, you stay clear or you steer clear of those things.
Okay.
Like, what is happily single? Happily single is understanding your purpose, pursuing it because it makes you happy, understanding yourself, pursuing a better version of yourself,
Okay.
healing. That is singleness. Because anyone, married or what, we all have things that have hurt us.
True.
That we need to heal from and get better. Now,
true.
pursuing a better version of yourself requires healing. You need to heal. You need to heal from your trauma so that you don't approach people like that, the hurt that happened to you. Maybe your dad hurt you. Maybe your boyfriend hurt you. So that you don't look at all men like your boyfriend. So you need to understand yourself, to process life, to sit with yourself long enough that you enjoy your company. A happily single person is a person who enjoys their own company. A person who can sit in a room full of people, that they're not with their people, and still be happy.
Wow, that's a tricky one. Like being in a room where you don't have your people, but you still have the contentment with you and you're happy.
Yes.
That's something rare to find these days because why am I saying it's rare to find? Because we live to please people's expectations these days. We want to be approved by the people around us. Validation. So if that
people don't have to be individuals,
they can't stand for what is their own. Like they can't.
What are people thinking? What are they thinking? If they're not people, there are no people around you to validate you. You're not happy. People are validating your decision, your dress sense, your thinking, the way you see things. Like people are really used to living with people around them again and again. It's not bad to be a communal person. It's okay. We were created as communal beings. We are communal. We love community. We love people around us. But can you exist in your own space, or you're going to become a problem to a partner?
At the end of the day, chimenya partner, if you get in a relation, it breaks. It breaks, it drains, it drags.
Imagine a girlfriend who texts you every other time. I'm not talking about Mbo, you don't have to communicate. I'm very huge on communication. By the way, people need to know how to communicate with people. I have a whole thing I can talk about that.
That will be in the next session.
Okay, the next session.
You talk about communication, but the communicating bit of it.
I'm not talking about like you need to be communicating with the people you love. No, I'm talking about a nagging, clingy person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about Mboli and Jagala twebamu. I'm talking about a person who's always like Oliwa. Who are you talking to? What is going on? Olinani. Are there females there? Hey, I had a friend of mine, someone who had a girlfriend like that. Are there females around? Excuse me. Now I don't have a life because I have a girlfriend.
That's crazy.
Mbo, are there females around? What are you doing? It's late. Why should be? That's what I'm talking about. Now that person doesn't know how to be an individual.
Yeah.
They don't understand that a person has a life. Nti olina obulamu obubwo okola ebintu ebibyo tekijjaawo nti oyagala gw'oyagala. Naye munnange olina obulamu obwo. Nange nnina obwange. Njagala okulaba ng'owangula mu bubwo. Naawe wandyagadde ondabe nga mpangula mu bwange. I have things to do. No, it doesn't take away the fact that we are in a relationship. It doesn't take away the fact that we are married. That's why people need to know how to be single before they get married. Because when you know how to be single, you know how to be married.
At least you can stand for yourself as an individual.
Yes, as an individual. Because married people don't be together all the time. You go to work. You come back home. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes you've worked 2 weeks away, I've worked 1 week at home. Like we have to, life has to continue.
True, that's very true.
Life has to continue. So Munange, if people don't understand that part, if they do not understand that you must have a life of your own, you must be able to be an individual and thrive in being an individual, then they become a problem to the friends they have. You're there texting, disturbing them in a manner of okay, I'm not dismissing the fact that you need to see and visit your friends, but I think you get that place I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get the
that a clinging, nagging person who does not know how to be by themselves. You need to know how to be by yourself. Me, I enjoy my company so much so that I never have bored days. No. I can sit with myself long enough and laugh about life. Like, I'm having conversations literally with my God almost all the time. I'm like, oh, that was funny. Oh, you need to know how to laugh at yourself and laugh at things you've done. That is just a way of being happy. Don't be too uptight with yourself. That's how you can be easy with other people. So I really enjoy my company. Like, I can go to a place and I'm not even afraid to dance if I want to dance, to sing and shake my head if I want to shake my head. Now people find those things weird because they are seeking for validation. Because why are you finding it weird? Because other people are seeing you and they are calling you weird. So now you feel that's a weird thing to do. People really act like they no longer have free will. But God gave us free will. It's like this hair business thing. Like waking up and cutting off my hair. It's free will, guys. I cut it off, it will grow. I'll plait it, then cut it off. I'll choose to color my hair. Because free will, guys. Why do we act like we're in prison? And the prison we are in has been set up by people and the things they do, they think about, things we created for ourselves.
So it takes us back. It really takes us back to the drawing board, because we are products of the societies we've grown up from.
Yes.
What the societies have shaped us to think, to be, and at some point you feel like our societies have taught us there's an edge to singleness. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, someone said it in one of the videos I made on TikTok that I have discovered there's an age bracket to being happily single. I was like, no, sis, that is not it. You're single for as long as you want to be single. There's no age bracket. If you want to get married at 17, you can get married. 18, get married. As long as you're an adult by whatever standards your country works on, you can get married if you want to. You just wake up in the morning and be like, I'm getting married, and that's the decision I've made. And you can be as single for as long as you want. You can be single for as long as you want. You can be single to 60, you can be single to 80, you can be single to 90, to 70, as long as you want. This is just a societal thing we came up with. For instance, there are things that people have come up with that are threatening people into marriage. Oh, hurry up, get married so that you don't sin. As if someone who cheats or who sleeps around will stop sleeping around when they get married.
They never.
Chiri, it's a matter of self-control. Learn self-control and get married. Because otherwise, ogendera kuwasa. It is a matter of self-control.
The sexual desires are really so strong that marriage can't really contain them.
That brings me to this part that you see, that for me, I'm an advocate for purity and virginity, no sex before marriage. So that means I live by that principle. I've never had sex. I'm a virgin and I'm very proud of it. And I encourage so many of the girls and the boys to be virgins till they get married. Now, there's this thing that happens when you get married. If you did not have self-control as a virgin, that is like now you've set yourself loose. It's actually something I also say in the book, that it is easier for a virgin like me to be happily single or to not feel that too much until, oh yeah, I have to have sex or something. Yes, my hormones are active and I get those seasons, okay? Because it's a body. It has to do what it has to do. That means I'm a normal human being.
True.
Yeah?
True.
But for someone who has already tested sex, it's harder for them. But they know what's happening. They know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. You're making money, you're sleeping.
Tell them.
They know what is going on.
Yeah.
So these people will have to tap into whatever gundi they have of self-control as hard as they can. Kwanza kati me I'm a virgin. So I'm like, I mean, it's not that deep. Okay?
Yeah.
And then there's this one who has tested the waters. She's like, mwana gwe mbeerawo. Okay, nafe tubeerawo naye nkitegeera. Gwe wooli walalamu.
Yeah, they've tested. They know what they are craving for.
Yeah. So I tell such people to actually work on their self-control. Because when you get married, you're not going to have sex with your partner every day.
Exactly.
So really just work on your self-control. Because you'll discover you get married and then also sex is done and then sometimes it's not that big of a deal. It's underwhelming. Can't imagine you got into it for the sex
and it's done.
And it's now underwhelming.
What next?
Ogenda kola otya. Ukirabanga self-control yo gyetaaga. Oshegeera. So there are misconceptions. There are people who used to tell us that get married, have sex, aliso zale yakana to avoid fibroids. And then I saw people who got married, had kids, got fibroids. I was like, oh, so that cannot be the reason I give birth.
That can't be the reason.
It cannot be the reason.
Can't be the reason.
I was like, hey, so mubadde mutulimba.
There are really misconceptions in
so
that society
many.
From all ends.
From all angles. That's why you go into this whole thing with your own faith, your own thinking, your own mindset. Because the way that things happen for the other one will not happen the same way for you. You're unique. Everybody's unique and we experience unique experiences.
Definitely.
Yeah, so a person rushing you into marriage because of fibroids, rushing you into marriage because of kids.
Because of running from sin.
There are people who got married at 22 and they have not had a kid till today. So it's not even about barrenness. There are people who got married at 40, gave birth to twins. Chimamada Ngozi, is it Ngozi? Chimamada, that writer. She gave birth to twins recently. She's 44, 40? But she's in her 40s. Twins. You see, mindset. People just be out there. So, people get it. Tebisobola kupa pya kufumbirwa oba kuwasa. Nze ndabye nnyo waliwo tetwayita covid weddings. Naye abantu abo kye bakoze kwe kwawukana silently. Ogenda kuddamu babuuza tebakutula. Obwo bu covid marriages obwo bwabaawo obusinga mye. Lwaki? Kituzaayo ku kije twadde twogerako nti abantu tebali friends. Tebakoze mikwano n'abantu be datinga, bantu be bagenda kuwasa. Omuntu akugwako nga bwakuguddeko. nakugamba Zipporah njagala kuwasa nze ntera okubabuuza watya ndisiriyo kiira onooziika emirambo nange ekyo ekintu kyokwagala okuwasa omuntu nga tomutegedde tomanyi byayagala tomanyi byoyagala nawe kenyi towetegeera oyagala kuwasaani gwe watya tuli basezi kubanga ebyo bwe twongera okuridatinga nga ab'emikwano lumu nja kugamba Joshua omanyi ndi musezi ndi musezi era nja kunnyonnyola mukwano ndi musezi oŋŋambe Zipporah it is fine nja kugumiikiriza Ochegeera
nkufuna kubanga because when you mentioned that as I said we are products at some point like the upbringing comes from the society. Me have been in church, I've grown up in church, you know, at church chapters, so you get to hear testimonies of the people that married way back. What worked for them during their years I don't think can still work for us. You find, okay, I'm not attacking anyone, but someone stands, you know, they are leaders and they're like zomchala bwe namulaba namugamba njagala kuwasa ncha
omukyala wamubuuza nakugamba ali happy.
There's a question mark. There's a question mark.
Waba byogere byebintu mbo zinamulaba bulabi nemuwasa nemanya nti yajana naye omukyala yogeddeko naye ali atya
jedataba happy. But you find that boys now, the boys that have had that approach, but that approach might not work because once we skip the friendship stage, it still has to locate us even when we get to the marriage.
Tugenda kuddayo mu cycle yemu, tugenda kuddamu ensobi z'abataata baffe ne bamaama baffe bwe tubanga tukozesezza eyo method yaabwe kuba bw'otuula nabo bakuwa story nze waliwo abakyala b'ensinkanye kweyo story yambo namulaba ne mugamba gwe ngenda kuwa. When you talk to the wives they are not happy about that thing nti teyakwanibwa
kati ate bagala baddemu bakwana bakuze
reflecting ne mu marriage yaabwe nti ono teyamukwana yali tali interested mu kumumanya ye yayagala mukyala
ayagala baana
akola ekikomando ayagala amwoleza amukolera emirimu kitegeera era yamufuna kyaggwa ali waka kati ono ayagala ate ayisibwenge yakwanibwa
bambi
kati ali abali mu bironule kuba abaana bakuze bavuddewo ono ate amukwana tamanyi na bwe babeera na muntu okitegeera era tamanyi bw'obeera na muntu tamanyi bwe bakwana muntu bw'obeera na mukwano gwo ne munyumya ne museka n'omwagaliza ebintu ebirungi n'omufaako n'omukolera ebintu tabimanyi kuba yafuna mukozi wa mirimu.
So I think for the people that are watching us, I think it's time we shift our mindsets from what we grew up our parents doing. I don't think it still works in this dispensation. I don't think it can still work because that thing can't work these days. We have to invest in knowing people before we get married. Before we get married, because it is later reflecting in the marriages that we are seeing these days. The divorce rates are really getting so high globally. Bagumye bali kukisa bagumye kubyamaliya tulo ofumbe things like that, but I don't think that thing can still work. No.
I don't think that's how marriage has to be. That nga twegumira bwegumiza.
There is a better way.
Olaba ne Yesu mukwano gwaffe.
We need to shift our mindsets.
We need to shift
because we are at a point because it is a cycle. It happened to our parents. If we copy that, we are going to pass it to our children as well, and our children will pass it on. And then at the end of the day, we are not moving. We are not really moving because at some point we get stuck to things that kuba. It's really a game of the mindset.
It is.
Kubanga mu society. At some point, because once you reach there, they're like, wasadi, ofumbirwa di.
So nakyogerako ne muno ne ngamba bannange nze ngenda tandika okubiriza abafumbo bano balekerawo tuyita mu conference zaabwe ffe basingo batuleke batukolere ezaffe ng'ate mulimu basinga abasanyufu bajje boogere naffe unless tubalaze nti twagala kufumbirwa mukole conference y'abaagala okufumbirwa naye basingo beetaaga omuntu ayogere nabo nti bannange pursue your purpose become someone get a job do something with your life. Osanga omusajja bambi talina mulimu ali awo ku kyakya apoocha bupoocha ng'ate bali mu mukubiriza amuwasa gundi wasa amukozesa eki
bali ewa baagala babbe
mukwano. I never understand that part.
No, the church is also doing so much pressure.
Yes,
there's a lot of pressure in the church,
unnecessary misguided pressure.
Because Owasadi has become the talk on
you get these
all the
people
time.
jobs. Help them get a future.
I think we're missing a point somewhere.
Yes.
The time of in my perspective, I get to think that when we are single, that time before we get married, it's a very precious time to develop ourselves. There is a lot we can do.
Yes.
Because I look at young girls, like teenagers. I feel like they are not being taught. Okay, they are being taught, but I feel like they need to be more empowered.
Not as it is. Tebali mu kubeera empowered.
Balina okuba empowered kubanga balina capacities nyingi. Balina like potential y'amaanyi nnyo.
Okubanga bagiziise mu kubeera nti get married.
No wonder once they get married, they relax. They lose the purpose.
They lose the purpose, or they start to feel dissatisfied with life. Kubanga kati ali awo awulira alina ekinene kyalina okufuuka ne kati alina omwana n'omwami tamanyi bwaki navigatinga kufuuka kiri ekinene kyalina kati ate bw'atandika okipursuinga ne batandika omuyita nti yeeduukuuza ali rebellious tali submissive kuba kati ate kiri kye yalina okufuuka luli kati ate lwakitegedde nti akyetaaga nnyo azadde kuba ate abakazi bo bwe bazaala ate bazuukukana nnyo mowa kati nina abaana nina obbalabirira abaana kati ayagala ate afuuke ebintu akole ebintu ebinene kati oli mukyala waka olina okubalansinga obulamu.
It becomes tricky.
So being single nze ndaba church eddeyo wali ekoleyo singles conferences nga zaakubangula abavubuka abasajja n'abakazi to become mubayambeko okubaako kye bafuuka so they get stable marriages, stable homes, financially, spiritually, ebyo byonna kubaza abawala mbalabe ennaku zino abawala bakola ababo church bambi bali mu kufuba abamu of course waliwo abasiru naye waliwo abamu abali mu kukola befubyeko labango mwala ayiriba then ne bamufunira brother atayina na mulimu atamanyira bwe bagu maintaininga ne bamugamba amuwase ate ne bateeka ono omwala ku pressure ne bamugaslightinga nga bamulaga nti nno bw'otafumbirwa kye kikulu ennyo bw'otafumbirwa kati ani anankuwasa olaba okuze just go with this brother. Agenda n'omusajja n'amumenya. He wants to lead you. He has not led himself. He doesn't know what that looks like. Then he ends up controlling you.
He has no vision.
Tabimanyi.
Wow.
Tamanyi leadership bwefaanana. Kati agenda ku controllinga because the people who don't know how to be leaders. They control.
They control.
Kuba leadership is you do, I follow. I don't know why people forget that. You do, I follow. You don't tell me. You do, I follow. We are following Christ's example. Mulaba atubeerako.
Kola kino kola kiri. Akola bukozi n'okoppa. But
most men don't know that.
They just control.
They think you come, you tell.
Do not do this.
Leadership. You go. We are going to follow you. Sebo leader. You go ahead. We are going to follow you. But you get a man, he doesn't know how to lead himself. Tafunye mulimu tamanyi bwe kifaanana ekyo. Bamukukaseeko. Gwe ng'omukyala bakupapizaawo n'akalimu akatono bambi ayiri bakazi balabe ennaku zino bw'atunda ku majiga boyiro ate akolanga nansi bw'atunda ku daddies n'atundayo ku bino supplementing the income gy'alina already. Bamukwata ng'ali ambitious bw'atyo. Ne bamuteekako akasajja. Oba omusajja. N'omulala sister kati nga tatya nga yenna yeereze bw'ati n'omugamba bambi kuba ate basista abo bwe bali mu kukola ennyo bwe basaba bwe beewaddeyo bwe bali mu kusaavinga mu kkanisa byonna babikola then bano bo babalesemu ajja kuwasa afune amulabirira.
So it's so bad, so unfortunate. It's so sad because we need empowerment.
Yeah.
Like I get now to understand from what we're talking. I get to realize that the singleness stage is not passive. It's a very, very active stage. A lot of things to do there. A lot of self-discovery, a lot of self-development, a lot of it's because I feel like that's the peak. You can do a lot.
Yes.
It's a peak.
You have a lot of time time to think, time to work, time to do. Before they push these people into marriages, let them empower them. Push them towards development and empowerment. Let them become something.
True.
Nze nzijukira nnyo enjogera, by the way, yezimu ku njogera ezaayonoona gundi, ezaayonoona omulembe gwaffe mu kufumbirwa n'okuwasaawo. Bw'osooka ozimba ennyumba, ennyumba bwe bufumbo, osooka okola ebiki. They dismissed the things that are important. Abafumbo abali ku muzigo si be bamu n'abafumbo abalina enju eyaabwe.
Those two are different.
Maama gundi, ozadde ka baby, ndi mu kaleesu, bwe ŋŋenda mu katooyi, omwami wange ali mu luvesti, mu lubokisa, landiroodi akonkonye. Those things damage your mind.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They damage your mind. You have these kids, you're having sex behind a curtain, the kids are sleeping here. Damaged mind. And then we are wondering why we have perverted kids.
It comes from the home.
Mwayingira mu kintu nga temuli ready. Wano wange oli single, bala ebintu, bala ekyeso, nkimanyi tebisobola kuba perfect. Naye at least ogule ka 10 simanya ku 5 ku 10 oteekeko ne bwe kaba kasiisira musuloomu. Have a house.
Develop yourself.
Develop yourself.
Develop yourself.
Have a plan of how things are going to be. Nze manyi okulowooza kuba nze abamu mindset yaabwe mu kufumbirwa oba n'okwasa eri selfish. Nti ngera bwe nagambye nti oli afuna ng'afunye amoleza bintu, amugololera, akola biki, akoye ebikomando, ererere, n'afuna awusigaalo. Mu kifo ky'okufuna awusigaalo omusasule, oli mu kufuna muwala w'abandi akolera emirimu ku bwereere ate nga bwe weebaka naye. Then waliwo abakyala bo nga bakkiriza nga ye ayingidde mu bufumbo, bintu bya bwereere, buli kimu kya bwereere. Naye nze ntera okutunuulira ebintu nga nze kuteesa waabwe bwe nnyingira obufumbo n'enzaala abaana 2, nze okusinziira ku nnyingiza yange nsobola okulabirira omwana. Nze sitera kubalira ku balala, nze neebalirako nti omusajja ono ne bwe tuba tetwogedde nti tabasasulidde, bw'afa can I manage? Bwe tuba tugambye nti you've got a partner who's supportive, akinawaati ebyo byonna, bw'afa ngenda kubaawo ntya. Oshegera. I'm always thinking about Zipporah at the stage you're at right now. Can you handle a family? Nawe kenyini waliwo ebiro by'osula ng'onywedde mazzi gokka.
Ng'atona okimanyi kiganye.
Nga kiganye ng'okitunuddemu bw'oti mu buli koona ne kiyiika nga wasulidde mazzi g'akunywa. Omwana tagenda kusulira mazzi g'akunywa.
Tojja bimunyumiza.
Omutunuulire omunyiigire. Otandika okulya entitled ku ssente za maama wo, bujjajja waabwe naye nga talina kyakozeewo. Yakuzaala n'akulabirira n'akutuusa waakutuusizza oli kujja.
Those things are happening. Bibaddewo nnyo. Kubanga I think people tend sometimes to lose vision of what they want to see tomorrow. Kubanga if like as for me, if I didn't get certain things when I was young, at this point I've been exposed enough. I know the kind of curriculums I need my children to be in. And when I look at myself, hey, I can't get married like just now because curriculums in you find at the time they're paying like 7 million. And it's not because I want to be but that's what I feel like now that's the standard they should have. So that's why at this point I'm working so hard. So tuba tubibala tulabenga maso wali things are
no gatta wali no gatta no ngekyeso ino kibala.